fun. Well, now that this is one of our chosen worlds, we definitely want to get rid of the pirates or other hostiles in the area. You can manage your colonies remotely using the colony management screen. Which one was that? Here? Okay. So does that mean that even if I'm in a different system, I can manage this and potentially start new projects or get rewards? Sounds like it. Which is convenient, rather than making me fly all the way back here.
The skeins of fate can lead us to victory.
Sometimes during combat, you will see different types of anomalous zones. Any vessel that enters such a zone, even with only part of its hull, will receive specific positive and negative effects. We are just getting shot right now, and I'm not even able to watch it because I'm reading a tutorial. How many enemies are shooting me? For example, in a gas and dust cloud, your flagship is slowed down. The dense fog obscures objects in the zone and creates heavy resistance for projectiles, thus affecting the shooting range and accuracy of your voidship weapons. At the same time, the fog conceals your own position, significantly reducing the chance your own voidship will be hit. Beware of asteroid fields. Any vessel caught in these zones suffers damage each round, but if you manage to lure an enemy into this zone, you'll surely gain the upper hand and make quick work of them. So presumably there is an anomalous zone somewhere. Ah, here. So that is a gas and dust cloud, so its aim is reduced while it's there, but our ability to shoot it would also take penalties. More evasion, less maneuverability, less speed, only for us. Everyone else doesn't have a speed penalty? That seems unfair. Less hit chance and less range. Alright, this guy is basically within our attack range. We move forward a touch. If we went, say, here, you are within range there. You would not be in range of that attack yet. But I think we'll start with this. Take a shot there with our right side guns. Starboard.
Onward!
Good. Then if we move to here, we can then shoot these guys with our main gun.
This one's going down.
And then if I go, say, here, I can shoot them. That won't allow me to shoot either, but then I can get another shot here.
The time has come.
So which one do I think is closer to death? You are. So let's shoot them with these cannons.
Leave their hull strewn across the stars.
Then I suppose we'll send out torpedoes there. I don't think we need to adjust our heading at all. Sadly, they didn't quite die. And we didn't need the extra range. But we want to use these so that we can level them up sooner rather than later. Just to give us more options in the future. Yeah, you are doing so little damage to my shields. Okay, that did real damage. None of my shields are down, but that did damage to my hull. Those are just getting through my shields. That doesn't seem 100% fair. Alright, torpedoes. Let's have you go here, because it will hit them for a lot of damage, and I think it should explode outward to also kill that one. Yes? No. It didn't actually explode and hit that one at all. That seems weird to me. They are just barely out of range. Well, I can shoot you.
Bleed them.
Could do a swing run.
Lay in the course.
Probably there. Can't put out any new torpedoes or anything yet. Could restart my shields because we've taken quite a few hits. No, 2 more range still wouldn't be enough to do anything. So I think we have to just end our turn here. They're going to come up, probably get another shot on our front. Possibly they'll go for the side and do even more damage, which will be sad. If I restart my shield now, initiates the process of restarting the shields. The shields will be restored at the start of the flagship's next turn. Rewriting power to the shields. Reduce our speed and firing range. No, I don't think this is going to last 2 more turns. If it's at the start of our next turn, where we get our shields up, we're probably going to kill them on our next turn. So I don't think there's any point to it. I'd rather have my movement and guns as good as possible. Yeah, you hide in that smoke. Okay. Well, let's just shoot here.
Fire right now!
There we go.
All clear. Congratulations, Lord Captain.
Yeah, we took way too much damage. We found... Is that the one we found? I think so. Prodigious pattern macro battery. Short broadside macro cannon, which fires 4 shots, dealing 21 damage per shot. That looks like it's just better. And then some unholy amulets and some scrap. Well, I'm good with just getting a better gun. So that's here. What were you? Okay, that's our prow weapon. Just seeing what options we have that I didn't use, but that... So do I want it on the port or starboard side? Because it means one side of my ship is going to do better damage. We'll go starboard side. So we want to get enemies on the right side of our ship if possible. And then let's spend 14 to repair our hull, just because I don't like going around with a damaged hull. Should I do some more upgrading? We've got a lot of scrap and we're not taking a ton of damage. And upgrading the hull should reduce the amount of damage we take. Yeah, I think I'm going to upgrade one more time. Just to keep as strong as possible. I suppose I should have at least used the +2 range, even though we didn't need it. Ah, well. That's this whole area explored. Do I want to grab that plasteel? I don't think so. Likely we will come back to this world at some future, or this system at some future point because of that. And when we do, I can reconsider that plasteel. Although there's something to be said, we have a contract to sell off that plasteel. So I could do that, get our profit factor, make the Inquisitor happier with us, and then immediately mine up 7 more plasteel so we still have some on hand. Maybe that's the call. Then we're getting really low on our extractors. And I don't know how to get more. I'm going to do it. Let's complete the contract for the Inquisitor. Then we'll go here. And mine up this plasteel. Which in this case we're getting 7 rather than the last planet which only gave 5. So there probably is some... There probably is a good idea to be picky about where we put them down. Because some worlds are obviously better than others. With that out of the way, let's go to another sector as we slowly make our way towards Janus. You can buy more with reputation. I know, depending on where we find different people are willing to sell different things. I just don't know who yet sells more of them. I don't think there's any way for me to buy from those different factions from my ship, which I feel like there should be. Okay, we can now get to some of these other systems we couldn't find before. So we could go to Omicron, or we could head up here. This is where Janus is. We could take a dangerous move there. Tempted to just keep exploring these random unknown systems, so go to Omicron first. I mean, technically we could also go here to Cradle of Kerpri, but it's a very deadly route. But we could reduce that. Unlike going somewhere random where we don't have a route, we can just make a route that's deadly. This one we could technically get to safely. But I think I'll hold off and hope that some other system will find me a safe route there. But I think Omicron is just currently an unsafe route, which I think I'm going to be fine with unsafe. I don't think we need to make everything safe. So let's just travel to Omicron. One of these days, something bad's going to happen on an unsafe travel, and I will realize why it's bad to just keep jumping unsafe, but currently it's been fine. Lord Captain, I hasten to report the disturbing news brought to me by the machine spirits of the ship. The matter is extremely delicate and concerns Lady Cassia. You see, since her first day aboard, her presence has been disturbed to a disturbance to the crew's way of life. If you allow, I have prepared a detailed report. Deliver your report. Cassia is an honored guest on this void ship, and the voidsmen must come to terms with all her oddities and capriciouses. I know that word, I don't know how to pronounce it. And for those who cannot, lashes to every one of them. I'm not interested in the problems of the Lady Navigator. If that is all, we are done here. I don't know about lashes to everyone, but kind of want delivery report, but also let the people know that Cassia is an honored guest, and they need to come to terms with anything they have issues with. But I don't think we need to lash them yet, unless they're being actually negative towards her. Deliver your report. The first incident occurred immediately after our departure from York 5. The Lady Navigator chastised one of the ship's runners, after which he went to his living quarters, killed his family, and then shot himself. Whoa! What? The second incident was noted while traversing the warp. The Lady Navigator gave the pilots the wrong instructions and the void ship was thrown off course. for a matter of minutes, but this was enough for the forces of the Imperium to anger the machine spirits enough for them to start a fire in the service bay. After that, officers living near the Lady Navigator's quarters began to express extreme emotions: hysteria, apathy, euphoria, rage. This is quite detrimental to crew morale and performance. The last incident was recorded on Footfall. Around 100 living birds were delivered on board during our stay on Footfall. Each bird cost a hefty sum, but I have failed to discover their purpose and subsequent fate. I was also told about the conflict between the Lady Navigator and the Seneschal, alas, with no details. If you like, you can ask Master Wissarian directly. Things are even worse with Jay Hidari. I intercepted a Voxcast in which she promised she would, and I quote, end that Cassia if she ever saw her again. If I may, Lord Captain, the Lady Navigator's state of mind worries me. She is self-contained and does not mesh with the crew at all, which is why everyone avoids her. Even senior officers can be superstitious. I fear that only you are in a position to talk to her on equal footing and improve the situation, for the sake of the crew's safety and that of Lady Cassia herself. Okay. I think I need to talk to Cassia. So before we head into Omicron, currently uncharted system, let's go back to the deck and see what's going on with Cassia. And maybe we'll talk to Wissarian Abelard first, so we have information about what their argument was, and talk to Jai for similar reasons. And then we'll talk to Cassia once we have the full story. Or I guess the other party's side of the story.
Lord Captain.
Abelard greets you with customary courtesy, but makes sure to scan you from head to toe with his scrutinizing gaze. I hear you and Cassie exchanged words recently. What happened?
And who brought this piece of news to you, I wonder? Then again, I have nothing to hide from you. Of late, the helmsmen have been going off course with increasing frequency, and the reports are full of contradicting accounts. The problem continued, even after several demotions were handed out, so I took it upon myself to investigate.
So this is going back to Cassia's giving bad directions.
I was astonished to learn that our Lady Navigator has been amending entries in the ship's log, and the officers have been keeping silent on her orders. I immediately demanded an end to the outrageous conduct, and I reprimanded Lady Cassia in front of the officers. She greeted my words with silence, and then quickly departed. I should not have acted thus. I never even found out what drove her to do it.
Abelard heaves a sigh. Okay. Well, that tells us what's going on with them. I must take my leave until next time, Seneschal.
Lord Captain.
Abelard gives you a regulation salute. And I don't think... Like, I thought there was a way that we could trade through him with our various other groups. Maybe this. I would like to order the shipping and transportation of some goods. Okay. So this is... We can do trade. Maybe? Yes. Good, good, good. Okay. Let's see what we can get with all of them. So we can get more mobile extractiums. Perfect. Deflection gloves. These gloves allow the wearer to parry melee attacks with a ranged weapon. No, don't care about that. No other mobile extractiums. So I wonder if they just show up again with time. Like every so often I can check here and there'll be more available. Because otherwise I don't know how to find more. Casablanca mission. They have predominantly just xenotech stuff that I don't particularly care for. Yeah, Eldari plasma grenade, which looks like a good grenade, but I can't imagine myself having Argenta throw that. Fellowship of the Void. Bayonet knife. Staff of Endless Flame. That sounds like that's exactly my kind of thing. It's going to be a long time till we get there. We'd have to get all the way up to 7. Which seems like that'll take time. So if we selected all... No, we could... Well, we could get up to the next rank, 4,000. Man, it's going to take so much to get anyone's reputation up to that kind of level. Yeah. Like, I don't know how many points we need to get to 7, but if getting to rank 3 takes 4,000, 7 might be 10,000. Maybe if I sold everything, we'd get there. Alright, what about the Imperial Navy? Do you have anything of note? You just have ship parts. Right. Okay. Well, we got the mobile extractiums, and potentially I should be selling more of this random knickknacks that we find, or that I've, you know, bought off of traders, put it just back into our goods to sell. And that's how I'd have more money. I think. Possibly. But cool, we can just trade directly with him. Alright, Jai, what is your deal with Cassia?
May the Exalted One protect you. Have you grown bored without our little talk, Shireen?
Jai flashes you a welcoming smile, rolling a coin across the knuckles of her augmented fingers. I heard you had a falling out with Cassia. You even threatened to kill her.
So, Vigdis is snooping in on my Vox line. I wasn't threatening your navigator. I didn't even think about it. I was just relaxing in the good company of fragrant Amasak, sweet-scented Laho, and a handful of new friends from the upper decks. And right in the middle of the fun, the Lady Navigator swoops in and starts jabbering about how her head is about to split from the cacophony of colors coming from our cabin.
Okay. So far sounds reasonable. Jai grins crookedly and shrugs.
Long story short, Shireen, I had the misfortune of getting a taste of what your officers have been going on about. They say when the Arcelio girl becomes upset, everyone in the vicinity loses their minds and is overtaken by Agi. And it hurt like anything. I can only remember everyone huddling in a corner, wailing like klaxons. As for Cassia, I think Cassia was flustered by the state of our clothes, which were very meager back then, as you understand. Before I could get my bearings, the poor thing was gone. The whole situation was awkward. As for the threats, they were addressed to one of the girls I'd been foolish enough to invite to our little party. That Cassia used the confusion to pilfer a full pouch of Laho from under my nose.
I'm not certain you're telling the truth there. But yes, most of the rest of that story sounds reasonable. For what I know of both characters. I don't need your background again. Okay. Then I will see you later.
Oh, I have no doubt you will.
Jai laughs and bids you farewell with a wink. Okay, Cassia. Let's see what's going on with you. Because usually you're in more control than it sounds like you have been of late.
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations.
Cassia offers you a reserved smile and waves at you in greeting. I've heard rumors that you are not getting along well with the crew. Panic flashes in her ruby red eyes, and your heart starts beating a little faster while your hands go cold. Okay, so this must be the effect of when her emotions force emotions on others. Cool.
Not here. I'm begging you. Aren't noblemen supposed to discuss such things away from the servants?
We did succeed on our willpower test. Cassia says in an almost whisper. Let's go to my study. No one will disturb us there. Forget I mentioned it. I shouldn't have brought it up. No, let's go to my study. No one will disturb us there.
Then lead the way, and I will answer all of your questions.
Of course. What is it you want to talk about, Lord Captain? I have nothing to say to your unfounded accusations about my conflict with the crew. I cannot recall my having a single quarrel with any of your people during my entire time aboard. You've been willfully changing entries in the ship's logbook and forbidding officers from reporting it to Abelard. You must have had quite a falling out with Jai if she was threatening to kill you. Jai says that's not what happened. So I don't know that we should push that. If Jai says she didn't threaten, and Cassia says she's had no issues, then it's just our Vox Master who was listening in my conversation. And who's to say who Jai was talking to when all you can hear is voice? Messenger you rebuked butchered his own family and then killed himself. Yeah, that one's a lot. During the warp voyage, you gave wrong orders, which led the vessel shifting off course and then service bay being destroyed. The officers are reluctant to be quartered next to your chambers because of the constant emotional outbursts it causes them. Some even maim themselves and others. Would you mind telling me why you needed 100 species of bird and what you used them for? Most of these are good questions. I hope I can ask all of them. But we'll start with the logbook. You've been willfully changing entries in the ship's logbook and forbidding officers from reporting to Abelard. I beg to differ. I read numerous books on Astra and Taurus, and I can swear on House Orsilio's honor that your officers are entering data in complete contravention of regulation. False terms, random distances between lines, spelling mistakes in even the simplest of words. I spent the last few cycles correcting the latest log entries, and I thought it would please Master Abelard, as he is so fond of order. And yet the Seneschal did not appreciate my efforts, and for some reason called them an outrage, even though mere days before he had been swaddling me in warm yellow words. I noticed all your people do this when they are expressing sympathy. I merely wanted to repay the Seneschal with the same courtesy. Perhaps he finds my friendliness off-putting. Okay. So that could just be miscommunication. That Abelard saw her changing the records, but she was trying to correct mistakes in the records, but they didn't take the time to discuss what was going on. He just saw she was changing records, and she never let him know why. Seems fine. They could talk that out and resolve that. I'm going to leave the Jai one alone, for now at least. I might come back to it. The messenger you rebuked butchered his own family and then killed himself. She's probably going to hate hearing that, because I assume she doesn't know, and that's going to make her feel bad. I haven't rebuked a single errand boy on this ship. Cassia ponders this for a moment. I think I remember. A kind young man with a shy smile and skillful fingers with too much rotten ochre on his shoulders. I grew tired of the disgusting color and advised him to lighten his burden by casting the weight off his shoulders. He did not come the next day or ever again. So she encouraged him to lighten his burden, and he went and killed himself and his family. I mean, that could just be the fact that her emotions do influence others. And so he might have taken it a lot stronger than she was intending, or more forcefully than she intended. During the warp voyage, you gave the wrong orders, which led to the vessel shifting off course and the service bay being destroyed. I saw something in the warp, something vast, predatory, shimmering with indescribable colors. It came from nowhere and stared at the ship with hundreds of hungry eyes, right there in our path. I decided to change the course while it was still possible, but did not want to sow panic. Would it have been better to tell the crew we were heading straight into the monster's gaping maw? The crew, no. Telling the upper deck officers, yes. Like, if that had been sent to myself and the master helmsman, that there is some demon the warp right in our course, we're going to shift slightly off course to go around it. Don't tell the lower crew, they don't need to know. But I would have told us and the master helmsman what you were shifting around. The officers are reluctant to be quartered next to your chambers because of the constant emotional outburst it causes them. Some even maim themselves and others. I already told you that I can't control my abilities. What else do you want from me? Will I be assigned a pariah chaperone? Or will you put me in suppressing shackles? No, I'm not going to suppress your emotions just because your abilities affect others. That would be cruel. Would you mind telling me why you needed 100 species of bird and what you need them for? Admittedly, I am at a loss myself. The day we arrived on Footfall, I sent a request to the ship's quartermaster and asked him to get me a songbird, but he never asked for clarification. And shortly before we left, I had a countless number of cages delivered to me, all wrapped in bright red panic, with flickering tints of fear. There was a bird in every one. You wanted a single songbird, and the quartermaster didn't get clarification, so he just decided to buy one of every species. Wow. I was so excited, I thought I would have 100 friends instead of just one. They were squeaking so piteously, I let the poor things out. I even fed them my breakfast and dinner, but the stupid birds would not stop chittering, even after bedtime. They were dashing about the room, smacking me in the face with their wings, and defecating. I became angry, and suddenly they started pecking at each other's eyes and attacking me. Then I became afraid, and they fell over dead. I do not think I want to keep pets anymore. Wow. That's a lot. I think I'm going to ask about the falling out with Jai to see if her statement matches what Jai said. But since she has had reasonable explanations for everything so far, I'm guessing she's going to be like, I didn't have a falling out with Jai at all. I don't know what you're talking about. She never threatened to kill me. You must have had quite a falling out with Jai if she's threatening to kill you. Cassie's ruby eyes become round in an unbidden flush, and an unbidden flush suffuses her pale face with a rosy tint. I didn't. That is our private business. The issue was between me and Lady Jai. Lord Captain, please pay it no heed. We made our peace long ago, and I will have you know, no one threatened me. Your information is incorrect. Huh. Okay, well, I think I have heard enough. Will you share your thoughts with me? My crew has good reason to fear you. You truly are a monster. No. From now on, I forbid you to leave your chambers unless absolutely necessary. No. You have a kind soul, but have difficulty reaching out to people. I could teach you the art of communication if you like. That one is good. You've done terrible things, but I would not presume to lecture a person of noble blood. Woe dog your steps, but we'll find a way to defeat them, I promise. Everyone who has dared to slander you will be punished. There is nothing reprehensible about your actions. No to that. I think you have a kind soul, but have difficulty reaching out to people. I could teach you the art of communication if you like. And by me teaching the art of communication, I mean the other people who are my communicators, because I am not charismatic. But yes. That would be wonderful. My education on Yark 5 was cut short, but I had realized by then that the wisdom of books is a poor substitute for the wisdom of experience. Very well, since we are done with this misunderstanding, I would like to change the subject. It would only be fair for me to ask you a few questions now, wouldn't it? Cassia hesitates and continues in a less confident tone. Do not mistake me, I am not going to accuse you of anything. It's just that you are the most worthy interlocutor on the entire ship, and you are always so busy. What would you like to ask? Or I never promised I would give you an answer. Let's end it at that. No, what would you like to ask? I read a treatise by Pius de Mobius very recently, who claimed that subjects would never believe their new ruler was better than the old one, unless the old one had been a tyrant. No matter the circumstances, the lowborn rabble become deluded about their prospects and rebel in favor of their base desires. What do you make of that? Subjects never believe the new ruler is better than the old one. basically they always think worse of the current ruler and better of those past rulers, unless the past ruler truly was a tyrant. There's some truth to that, probably. Lord Imperium succeeded. Your interpretation of this classical text is not entirely correct. If the subjects have grown accustomed to the ruling house, all the sovereign must do is refrain from breaching long-standing traditions, adjust unwanted laws as gradually as you would shift the bed of a flooded river, and no one will ever take your power from you. Commerce. On the contrary, the loyalty of subjects can be bought at a pittance, lower tax, throw them a festival, or feed the needy. A gracious gesture once every cycle will exalt you in the eyes of the rabble as if it were his own blessing. Persuasion, which we would super fail at. It has always been my opinion that subjects expect two things from their sovereign: to abuse power and to bless their babies. Succeed at both, and boring essays become unnecessary. That is a pretty brutal way of viewing things. Forgive my temerity, Lady Cassia. I was looking into your eyes and completely forgot your question. I'm afraid I do not have an answer. I am not familiar with the works of this scholar. I think we've already failed her romance. Part of me is wondering if this is a romance answer, but I think we already have failed her romance. And answering her question feels like a good answer rather than just saying I was lost in your eyes. I think I'm going to go with the Lore Imperium answer of, if you're from the ruling house, then just don't breach traditions and adjust bad laws slowly, and people will like you. Cassia thinks for a moment, then smiles. Indeed, I was not wrong about your merits or your ability to hold a conversation. I hope my second question does not confound you either. According to the 20 tomes penned by the preacher Oistark Istefan, the Forgotten, mercy and cruelty go through the world hand in hand, but people flock only to one pan of the scales. Would you rather inspire fear in your followers, or be magnanimous and choose awe? I mean, obviously magnanimous. I don't think I want to be ruled by fear. Coercion. I'm not afraid of acquiring a reputation for ruthlessness. I would rather crush a rebellion than condone one. Is that not the greater mercy in the end? I mean, I can understand that viewpoint. That if people are wanting to rebel, immediately stomp it out so that, in general, the average person can keep getting on with their life. I will exercise restraint and lenience in my actions. Excessive suspicion and mistrust harden the hearts of the people and turn them against each other. Or fellowship, one must be a tyrant, a friend, and a jester to one's subjects. What matters is that to clearly discern which role is required at a given moment. I beg your pardon. Stark, who? Is reading your only pastime? Or I never promised to give you an answer. Let's look at my stats and see how these go. 45%, 40%, 75%. Ah, man. Talking is not our forte. And I'm not going to insult her love of reading. We'll try this one because at least we have a decent chance of succeeding. That, yes, the position we have to take depends on the circumstance, I think is a fine answer. We succeeded, good. There is so much power in your words, power that makes me want to join you. I understand now why your subjects are eager to follow you. I admit, I was afraid we were too different, and yet you helped me realize that I can be candid with you. Please do continue, or enough talk, Lady Cassia. You've pushed me to my limit. Dismissed. No, please do continue. I must confess that sometimes I can hardly bear the burden the house has placed upon me. I feel I am not doing my best. Tell me how you, heir to a protectorate, can bear the responsibility of billions of lives day after day, and not stoop under all the weight. It is not easy, but I try to lead the dynasty towards prosperity by worthy means. is my duty whether I like it or not. Or this inner turmoil is clouding your mind. My protectorate, my subjects, my title are mere resources that I am using solely for my own ends. No, it's not always easy, but I try to lead the dynasty towards prosperity by worthy means. Thank you for your patience, Ignatius. You are helping me to see the world in different colors. A novel experience for me. Our conversations hold a special place in my heart. Allow me to bid you farewell for now. I'm heading back to my chambers to consider today's conversation. Okay. I guess that's that. No. Our way out of here. Let's do the voidship bridge. There we go. Let's see if the Vox Master knows of anything else of interest for us. Because she has this option for rumors, and so far has never told me anything of interest. When you approach Vigidus, pulls away from the fine-tuning another Vox and bows her head. Lord Captain, this ship informed me of our imminent meeting. Have the Vox routes brought you anything interesting lately? Forgive me, Lord Captain, I have no information that would be of interest to you at this moment. Alright. I live to serve, Lord Captain. I just wonder what the point of that option is if the answer is always the same of, no, there's nothing of interest to you. I assume at some point there will be something of interest to me.